It means a lot to be here at Valley Stream North because we're never going to be the guys that are the biggest, the big name, but we're always going to be the people who have the most heart and the people who are never going to take a play off. We're going to fight through adversity, and just, it's nice to represent North because you represent pride and all the past people who've came here.
I remember walking into the basement first day of practice, and we were getting our equipment, and I told myself, like, this group is special.
We were pretty confident about who we had. We had a lot of juniors coming up to seniors who played key roles last year, and we were pretty aware that we had a lot of juniors coming in that were going to help out.
Our bond couldn't be matched. I mean, we lacked in size, but we've always lacked in size, and we've always used that as a weapon. Undersized overachievers.
You really have to prove yourself. You can't just walk in every day and just win without putting anything extra in there. You gotta go the extra mile.
Guys look at us and say, oh man, we're gonna blow through these guys, until the first snap and they find out, geez, these guys are here to play.
I didn't know I was going to be going into the season as a quarterback.
At first, I was very hesitant of the idea because he was an all-county wide receiver and he was such a good threat on the outside.
Our coach is going to put people who he believes can do the job in those positions.
It was nice knowing that the coach thought that I was a player that he can rely on to play quarterback, and I was willing to do whatever it takes.
After the first couple of weeks went along, I realized how dynamic he is at the quarterback position and how he could really spread out the defense.
Every person knows I can trust that the person next to me is going to do their job, and I can execute my job with faith, knowing that my family will take care of me.
The weeks leading up to Lynbrook is always a fun experience.
They're a school very like us, and I think we're such close neighbors that whenever we play each other in any sport, it's just a really good competition.
You see those kids almost every day, every time I'm at the gym.
There might be a little trash talking in between the preseason, but let your play show the work.
You want the bragging rights. Not only that, but you also want to add a win on your season.
For the past 3 years on my varsity career, we've always started the year with a loss. And to know that we started the year with a win really put a flame under us and said, well, we're going to have a great year this year, so all we got to do is buy in, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Chavo told us we were playing Wanto week 2, and he told me the specific date. I marked down the days and counted down the days in the summer, because I'll never forget the way I felt walking off the field at Wanto High School around 5 p.m. Saturday afternoon It was the worst feeling in the world, November 4th, 2017. I remember getting on the bus and guys were in shambles, guys were in tears.
I think it was in the back of all of our minds that they were definitely a team that beat us twice last year.
Personally, we didn't want to go into that with a revenge sort of attitude because that's all we would be blinded by. Every home opener, there's always a rush of emotions because that's your turf, you got to defend it.
I think we all really knew about the news that this was going to be the last year that was going to be playing on the grass field. And we all really took it upon ourselves to try and make our season dedicated to all the teams that came before us and really honor all the blood, sweat, and tears.
We're gonna be the last team to ever open the season on that grass field. And how are we so blessed that it was against the team that ended our season last year? And we get a chance for redemption on that field, on that day. I mean, that's really magical if you think about it. We got to work harder. We weren't happy with the way the county's going to look at us because they're going to look at us like, yeah, they knew we almost beat them, but at the end of the day, it's still a loss. It doesn't matter.
I had a torn labrum going into the football season, and I wore a brace on my left shoulder. And there was one play on defense that I made a tackle and my shoulder completely came out, and all I remember was just a lot of thoughts running through my head about, well, what's gonna happen for the rest of the season? Am I gonna be able to play? Am I gonna need surgery again? I visited the doctor and he told me that it was probably gonna be best if I missed the rest of the season. And instantly I was overcome with a ton of sadness and just disbelief. I kind of felt like I let down the team a little bit because I knew that many guys looked up to me. I wanted to make sure that the team knew that they gotta keep going.
Joe goes down, Tim goes up.
And Timmy, we tried to tell him that you don't have to go out there and be Superman. You just have to do your job. We got your back. We won't let you down. You just got to go out there and make the throws.
It's just an opportunity that you got to take advantage of, you know. It's your time, you know, a spot opens up, you got to show up.
He's been prepared since week 1 of football. He was ready to go in there and do some damage. I basically just wanted to let him know that just because I'm gone doesn't mean that they're not going to give it 100% for him. He really took that. I mean, I think he's a very confident kid, and I think there wasn't one doubt in my mind that Tim wouldn't get the job done.
Regardless that Joe's out, we can't dwell on that. We have a team to beat on Saturday.
They are going to be our toughest opponent so far. They are going to be a bunch of raccoons who are backed into the corner with their season on the verge of being destroyed by us. And they are going to come out like that Saturday. The worst thing anyone can do would be to mentally underestimate Floral Park.
In Conference 3, every team is hard, no matter if it's Roosevelt, Wantagh, or even Floral Park. Floral Park was 0-2. They had nothing to lose, so they were going to be a bat out of hell, try to rip us apart.
We're going to their house, and they're going to see it as an opportunity to take advantage of us, maliciously take advantage of us. And we have to really go out there and do our job. We have to play like our backs are against the wall. Truthfully, we didn't play Valley Stream North football that day.
I didn't think that everyone gave it all that they had. There was a lack of heart. The energy of the game from the first snap, from the first kickoff, when they returned the kickoff was just very poor, and I think we needed to get a reality check.
They took advantage of us because their backs were against the wall. And Chavo had told us this. He told us this was going to be the toughest game of the season, and we were seeing it by the second quarter.
I think we're a very capable team with or without one player. So although it might have been a big loss that the team felt, they were going to pretty much fight back. And I think most of them really dug deep. The other captains, they really rallied around, and the team rallied around them, and they said that they're going to do whatever it takes, work 100%, and go to every practice like it's their last.
Homecoming's always a special week, especially senior year. Just the energy leading up to the game from the school, you feel it, it's like palpable.
The crowd's a little bit louder. The grass smells a bit fresher.
I think for a player, it really boosts their confidence. They see all their friends supporting them. They see the whole school pretty much coming out and knowing that they're all there for us. And knowing that, well, now they're here for us. We got to prove to them why we're going to win.
Going into the week, a lot of guys were very hesitant about playing with Roosevelt, given how good they've been over the past couple seasons.
We've had so many close battles with them in the past, almost all of them didn't go our way.
But after watching film and going over our defensive and offensive game plans, we knew that we could beat this team. So going in, we came with a sense of excitement, but moreover confidence, because we knew that this team was not better than us.
A team walking on your homecoming field, you have to let them know that this is not going to be an easy game. This is not a game where you're going to walk all over us. This is not a game where you're going to be able to run your offense with ease or run your defense with ease. We're going to give you a fight, so be ready.
It really hit me for the first time that this is my last season in Valley Stream North uniform. So it was very emotional, especially walking out with my family that got to share that experience with me.
As soon as my name got called, I was overcome with almost disbelief, as in, wow, like it's my time has come to finally get this walk, and for everyone to be looking at me and saying, well, that'll be me next year, but it was me this year, and it was just sad to do.
Being there with my mom, it meant the world. She's someone who's always taking care of me, making sure I'm doing the right thing. The only reason why I'm here today is because of my mom, and I'm glad that she was able to walk out with me. After she let me go, I looked at my teammates and I looked at their families, and I was telling myself, if I'm playing today, I'm gonna play for them. I'm gonna play for the guy next to me. I'm gonna play for this community. I'm gonna play for my mother. I'm gonna play for Chavo.
I was introduced to the heart that we had on the team after having a loss the week prior and showing little to no heart that game. I think the amount of heart and pride that we had wearing our uniform was just unbelievable.
After that game, I told myself, wow, this is a special group of guys, and I was blessed to play with these guys, and be able to contribute.
That was something that we were going to take and learn off of and really use to push us further in the year.
Now it's time to really kick it in the whole gear and make sure that next week is not the same result. Because I don't want to walk off this field again feeling like a loser. I want to win. I want to walk off with my head high.
After Roosevelt, we knew we weren't a 1-3 team. Everyone has to believe in each other. If everyone doesn't believe in each other, this team starts to crumble. We have to be with each other. We have to play to our best ability every single play because we believed that we were a great team.
We decided to visit a different doctor and get a second opinion on my shoulder. And he basically told us that the only damage that would happen to my shoulder was already occurred, so if I wanted to play the rest of my season, that it was completely up to me, and I bought into that. I wanted to just come back and make a run for playoffs.
Joe's a special player. You don't really see talent like that on a football field. His leadership that he has hyped everyone up during practice, hyped everyone up during games.
The first 2 practices, I had to really get myself back into football mode. I think I was very nervous to take hits, especially since I'm a running quarterback, and that's what my primary option is. After the first few practices, I started to get the hang of it again, and I started to get the realization that this is something I'm gonna have to deal with for the rest of the season if I want to play.
It definitely made the team feel like we were together again.
I know that some people were getting used to their positions, and I know it's tough for someone to just come back into the lineup again, but I think that many people were almost excited to see that we were gonna have a full, healthy roster.
Going to St. Mary's Children's Hospital, it's humbling.
You go there and you see the kind of conditions that these kids are facing, and they're struggling to survive, and knowing that we bring them happiness by just going there and reading a few books to them and spending some time with them is amazing, to see just the looks on their face.
Being able to connect with human beings like at that level is something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that hospital and going there with my teammates.
It really solidifies our program as having the best kids in all of Nassau County because we're willing to give up time preparing for another team just to make these kids' lives just a little bit better. So it speaks more to our character.
We're guys that care about our community and care about kids, and I feel like Chavo does a great job of getting us to be a program that focuses on that.
I think that it's really a life lesson, knowing that times are going to be tough no matter what, and not everything's going to come easy, but we're blessed to have a life with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a mind, and know that we can play the sport that we love every single day. And to know that some kids can't, it gives you a little bit of a boost.
Honestly, looking those kids in the eye, it made me want to play harder. Because I always think, I'm tired, I'm injured. I saw what real pain was when I went to the hospital that day.
When I play football, I play with the determination that those St. Mary's kids can't show.
Lawrence is one of the biggest names in the conference and even the county.
It's like David trying to take down Goliath. You got to swing at one of the best teams in the conference, and the way you play against them is an accurate representation of how you're going to play against everyone else.
We all felt energized going into that game because we realized this was the game to make a statement. This was the game to show everyone what we're actually made of and how good we actually are. And a statement win against an undefeated team would have propelled us into the playoff picture again.
was not a good feeling, knowing that we were 1-5 heading back to North on a long bus ride.
They had separated our buses into the senior bus and the rest of the underclassmen, and I remember our quarterback, Joe Jasanda, he was telling us how we have to make sure that those guys keep their heads up. Considering everything that we were put through in practice, all the work we've done, and just to see it to falter on Saturday, I know that had to hurt some of the younger guys. So we really spoke about and we emphasized that we have to get these guys to focus. We have to get their spirits up. Although we lost, they have to understand that the playoffs are not out of the picture yet. We're still in this. So we have to work even harder. We have no time to pout, we have no time to sigh, and we have no time to sit down.
Your season is on the line this week, correct? Yes, Coach. And we got a good team standing in our way. Who are they? That's right.
That week, you know, I was super nervous because I knew what was at stake and that it could be the last time we ever played on that field.
We've had some pretty close games with Bethpage, pretty tight ones. We beat them at homecoming 2 years ago. And that game, a team that wasn't really looked at to be anywhere in the playoffs that year, going against a powerhouse team, and to get that win in overtime was just something special. I mean, to see Chavo celebrating with us on the field, just like he's a player, it's just amazing to see how much these games really mean to people and how much it should really mean to us.
When we were sitting in the gym before walking out, you could hear a pin drop. Every single person in there was silent. You didn't hear a whisper, you didn't hear a coach talking to anybody. It was just a family thinking deeply about what's about to happen on that field. And it was like almost a solemn moment. It was the calm before the storm. And the storm was that game. The storm was the kickoff. We were prepared.
The first thing I thought was it's over and that we might not, we can't make the playoffs anymore, and it hit me hard.
I know the seniors didn't leave till about an hour and a half after the game because we just didn't want to leave the gates. Leaving the gates of the stadium was probably the hardest thing we did that day.
I think us seniors really had a connection with each other this year, and knowing that that was the last game at North, playing with each other for the past 6 years, it was hard to almost walk off that field for the last time.
I remember me and a couple of the seniors, we just went to the middle of the field and we just huddled in a corner and we just spoke to each other. We conversed with each other and we spoke about how much we love each other. We're a family. And we don't care what happened during the game. We just care that we get to play with each other on Saturday. Chavo always tells me, like, play every game like it's your last because one day it will be. And I remember sitting in the office and I was telling myself, it might actually be here.
Going into Glen Cove, we really almost decided to forget about our record and just play it like we're never going to play again. Because for the most part, most of us are never going to play this game again.
We weren't done. We had one more game. We weren't quitting. We needed that win. The entire practice week, we probably had our best practice week that week.
You really took in every second of practice and you really let everything sink in. You let all your emotions take the better of you and you realize that these are my brothers and this is the last time we're going to spend together.
Collectively, we all decided that we want to just make it fun again. Go into this game, have a ton of fun, go out there, Friday night lights, just play for yourself, play for your teammates, play for the school, play for coach.
It's a very bittersweet moment because you finally picked up that win that you were so desperately wanting. But meanwhile, it's the last win you'll ever get together. A bunch of us cried all our tears out during our final home game of the season. So we felt like we needed to embrace the win more than focus on the end of the season.
When we got back to the school, we didn't really want to take off our uniforms. You know, we kind of just stayed in the locker room for a little bit, talked about old memories that we had from junior high and JV and, you know, the early years of varsity.
It was such an emotional time because all the blood, sweat, and tears that not only I have, but as a senior, all the people that I've seen go before me, to know that this was also my last time, it was sad.
I thought about all the pedigree I've had here at North, all the blessings, all the teammates, all the friends I've made. I'm really blessed, I told myself, and I put the jersey inside the locker and I walked out.
Going to the weight room for the final meeting was super upsetting because it's as much as you wanted to put it off, you couldn't hide the fact that it was finally over.
I was always a freshman, I was always a sophomore, I was always a junior. Attending that meeting, I remember we did it in room 105 going into my junior year, and we clapped those guys out. And I remember, for some reason, I had tears in my eyes. Like I was sad for them, but I never thought it'd be me.
As proud as I am of this team and the players on this team and the effort that you put forth, I'm really disappointed that we didn't get a chance to go forward into the playoffs together. This is a great, great, great team, and you guys kept it together under some really adverse conditions throughout the entire year, and I got to applaud our leadership.
He gave us the chance for like one of the first times here at North to speak during the meeting.
I think it really proves to everyone about the character of Coach Chavo, just to know that he really respects every single senior, and just because you're not a captain and you don't get to stand in the front doesn't mean you don't play a big role in the team.
I remember Chavo giving us jackets in the locker room after practice one day and backpacks, and he told us we were one of the best teams he's ever coached. For a coach to say that, who's been coaching as long as he has, we were astonished that he said that. And it just goes to show that how special the senior group was. We were a family. Every guy, regardless of race, background, anything, we loved each other.
Being a Valley Stream North Spartan was probably the best thing that could ever happen to me. It showed me that not only do you have to be best athlete, but you also have to be a great community member and great in the classroom. It showed me to be the most well-rounded I could be.
This season and the team, it was special to me because having the last season of my football career, along with a ton of other players, just knowing that these group of guys I've gotten so close to, I know more about them than I know about most of my close friends.
I'll definitely miss the grind with your brothers on the field, off the field, everything you do together. It's just, there's nothing else like it.
It's great that I got to experience it, but I'm also sad that it's over. It feels like a part of me is being ripped out. And although it'll be with me forever, I wish some days I wake up and wish I could go back to 7th grade and do it all again.
Those memories that were built throughout the season are going to go on for a lifetime. Everyone's going to have those memories.